Bop and an orchestra. That is a scenario I never thought I would combine, but that's what's happening in Toronto and across North America. Some lucky Toronto musicians have been chosen to play a string of concerts with the group Hanson. I have to say, you guys to me are a little bit crazy. Because my understanding is you just flew into Toronto and you're performing with an orchestra that you haven't performed with yet.
Right.
Wait,
haven't even met them.
Yes. Yeah, no, it's a crazy process. Every day on this tour, it's a symphony tour. There's a new symphony in each town, and you go on stage and you play it for the first time at rehearsal, and then the show's that night.
46 lucky local musicians were given the opportunity to learn the new versions of the group's songs and join them on back-to-back nights of a packed house.
Every place you play, you're playing with local musicians, and you're supporting, great players from this community, keeping them, sharing their skills with a different audience, maybe.
The amount of people that, have said things like, "Oh, well, I, started playing music, when I was a kid, and you guys' record was one of my favorite first, records or whatever, and now here I am on stage playing violin with you." There's a lot of that's going on.
A lot of shared journey.
Yeah, exactly, and it's been really, really cool.
It's a show they promise is not like anyone you've seen before.
It's almost like a musical.
Almost like
without the dancing.
Okay.
Less
costume
musical.
changes?
No costume changes. No costume changes.
No sparkles.
No dancing.
What?
But besides that, it really does have that kind of
just the dancing of your soul.
Soul dancing.
That is soul dancing.
Hanson's new musical, Soul Dancing. Oh,
Yes.
this is a bad idea.
It's bad.
Still ahead on City News, the moment that happened 20 years ago in Toronto that's left an impact on the group's heart and ears. Some lucky Toronto musicians have been chosen to play with the pop band Hanson in a string of shows here in Toronto. But did you know that Hanson actually held a record that's near to their heart right here in the city? Something happened 20 years ago that I read was a record that happened in Toronto. Which,
Yes.
How are your ears?
Slightly deaf, yes. Yeah. I think about 20 years ago, we played a show here at Canada's Wonderland. Was that what it was?
Yeah.
And it was at the time, it was the loudest concert ever recorded.
How you guys? Take a minute to take a breather.
So I don't know if it still is, but it was very loud.
140 decibels of
I would
screaming.
say it was so loud you could physically feel when the fans would scream. It sort of comes in waves, and you'd be like, whoo, and you'd kind of go like that, like, wow. I mean, we didn't hear anything. We played that show, and
Neither did they.
We definitely lost some hearing that day.
So Toronto has a safe place in your heart and your ears?
What?
The group has been nominated for multiple Grammy Awards and has sold out shows for decades. Yes, decades. The group is celebrating 26 years, a milestone that many musicians never make.
We're in a strange industry where people are celebrated for being sort of not very good people. If you're a drug addict, if you had, 17 relationships and you've got whatever drug problems, all these other, like any other part of culture, people would be like, I'm not hiring you, I'm not leaving my kids with you. But we grew up with work ethic and you commit yourself to something and you try and do a good job. Yeah, and so I think it's, we put all of our challenges and struggles and our perspective into the songs. And then, like most people, just try and handle yourself the way you'd want to be treated, So it's not really rocket science, try, what a concept.
Hanson is currently on tour promoting their new album, String Theory, where they perform their songs with different orchestras around the world.